Hello everyone, this is a quick short guide on how to get Kivy and Buildozer set up on your Linux virtual machine using a Windows host. I should say ahead of time, this setup will take you around an hour and a half to 2 hours to finish. So just make sure that you have some time when you want to start this out. So the first step is to install VirtualBox. So you can just type in VirtualBox, go to Downloads, and since this is a Windows host, you click on the Windows host section here and follow the instructions to download the VirtualBox on your system. I already have it downloaded, so I'm just going to open it up here. When it opens up, you'll see your VirtualBox Manager. I already have a virtual machine set up. For you, this will just be blank and it'll just say Tools. But before we can create a new virtual machine, we should download the ISO as well. So to do that for Ubuntu, you go to Ubuntu desktop here and click on the link and you just click download here. This is approximately 2.5 gigs, I believe. So it will take some time for it to finish downloading. So I have already downloaded it and it's in my downloads folder. Make sure you know where you've downloaded this ISO file because we will be using it to set up our virtual machine. So once you have VirtualBox and your ISO, you then click on New here and you pick the name of your virtual machine, pick the version, so Linux for us, and the type is Linux and the version would be Ubuntu 64. Then you click Next. You pick your memory size. Recommended is 1020. I like to do a little bit more. And then I pick the default for everything else. I just click Next, Next. When you get to File, Location, and Size, they recommend 10, but I actually recommend around 40 because it'll take around 20 gigs just to get everything installed and set up. And so you also want to make sure you have wiggle room for any additional packages you may want to install later on. You can increase your virtual machine file size later. It's just easier to have it set up now. Then we click Create, and we have our virtual machine. So once you have it set up, now you double click it to open it and turn it on. And here it says select startup disk. So what you want to do is go here, click on this browse option, and go to add disk image in the top left. Then navigate to the folder that you have your Ubuntu desktop ISO here and click open. Then you should see it added here to your list and you click choose. Then when you have it loaded, you click start. So this process itself is going to take some time. So first you're going to have to wait a little bit for this to load up and get started. So you will hear a jingle and eventually come to this screen. Here you pick your language and then we want to install Ubuntu. So you click that option. Then again, pick the keyboard layout. I like to also test it out here just to make sure everything's connected properly. And then click continue. I go with a normal installation and download updates while installing Ubuntu just to make sure I have everything and there are no problems. Then what you want to do is erase disk and install Ubuntu. You'll receive a warning, but just something to keep in mind, this is your virtual machine. This has nothing to do with the actual host. So none of your files on your personal computer will actually be deleted. So you can click install now and you may get a pop-up here. Just click continue. Then you get your time zone. You just click continue here as well. And here you just type in the computer name and then you pick your password. And then click continue. So now the next step is going to take a couple of, at least maybe 10 minutes, I want to say, 10-15 minutes. It's going to go through and install Ubuntu onto your device. I recommend for this and future subsequent steps, ensure that your computer is plugged in and your power saver is so that it doesn't constantly go to hibernation or sleep mode during this. Because I have experienced some problems before in the past when that does happen, when the computer just goes into sleep mode automatically. So at this point, just go and do some stuff and then come back when it's finished. So once the installation is finally complete, you will be alerted to this message. So you just want to restart the virtual machine now. So you'll come across, it says, please remove the installation medium. So if you go to your devices up here, and you go to optical drives, you should see that this is unchecked. Just make sure it is. If it does have a check here, click to uncheck it. Once you have done so, just click enter, and your virtual machine will start to boot up automatically. So you'll come to your logon screen, and you can now click and log in. So you'll be greeted with sort of a welcome screen. I just like to skip all of these. Next, done. And I also like to remove some of this clutter as well. Okay, so the very first thing that I like to do is actually change the screen resolution. So the way you can do that is you can just type here resolution. You'll choose the option here when it loads up. And then you can just click whatever resolution you're satisfied with. I actually prefer to set a custom resolution. And the way this is done is if you open your terminal, I also like to pin this to the sidebar here. So the way to do this is type CVT and then your desired resolution. So I do 1900 times 940 and the refresh rate. Then you'll get this type of output. Then what you want to do is type XR and then put in new mode. And then copy up to where it says the model line. Copy this and just paste that down here. Then type in XR again, and this time -- add mode. And this time you want to type virtual 1 because we'll be adding to the virtual machine screen. And now copy what's inside the quotation marks from the previous line and paste that here. And then if you click enter, now if we go to our screen resolution options, you will see that you have your custom resolution here. So if I apply it, it's nice there, ready to go. If you want to make this permanent, because this custom resolution will actually reset every time you restart your machine. So to make it permanent, type in CD and then -etc profile.d. And here you want to make a file. So type in sudo vi, and I like to name the file external monitor resolution.sh. Put in your password. In this file, what you want to do is now type in what you had just put in the terminal. So for vi to type something, click the I key, then simply go, oops, I forgot I deleted this. If I type in 1900 94060 to get this output, and let's make this a bit smaller here. So all I type here is xrander new mode and copy from here, paste it here, and then same thing, add mode virtual 1 and copy and paste here. Now, when you're done and you've done this, click the escape key, then input a semicolon, W, Q, and then click enter. And now you've made this file that has your settings so that every time you start up, your screen will automatically be set to this resolution. So now I close this window. So now we're ready to set up Kivy. So for Linux, there are a variety of different ways you can install this. As I'm sure if you go to the Kivy Linux installation, you'll see there's a way to install the stable release. However, the stable release does not actually work with Python 3.8, which is what's installed by default in our Ubuntu desktop. So instead, we'll download the master version, which will require you to download all the dependencies as well. So to do this, just go type in Kivy installation from source, and you can go here on the first link. And this will show you all the dependencies that you need excuse me, to install. So all you got to do here is just copy this and copy this and then paste it right here into the toolbar. One thing to keep in mind, however, is that we need to specify that these are for Python 3. So actually, I'm going to do Control-C and then click the up button again. And now I'm going to, using the left button, go all the way to here where it says Python and just type in the number 3 here. So we have Python 3, Python 3 dev, and Python 3 pip. And then you click enter. And then you click it one more time, type in your password, and this will go through and install all the dependencies. It will skip the ones such as Python that we already have pre-installed on our system. So this will take a couple of minutes, so you can go and come back to it. So once you have installed all of the dependencies, you'll notice up here as well that there's a Python dependency, and there's different versions of Python that work with different versions of Kivy. We're going to install the latest version. And so to do this, you just type in Python 3-m pip install Python. And you click enter. And you'll get a warning that this is not in the path, but this is fine because later when we're installing Buildozer, we will add it to the path. So this is fine. So we now have all of the dependencies, and now we can easily install Kivy. So to do this, we go again Python 3-m pip install, and now we type in Kivy 2 equal signs 2.0.0 RC3 and click enter. And so this will go through and download Kivy. And now we are done. To test that we have Kivy on the system and it works, we can go text editor here, and we can make a quick button, right? So we can do from kivy.app import app, from kivy.ux button import button, and we can do class test app, make our class here, make a function, and then we'll make this button just say hello. And then we'll put the run here. And then we'll call this main.py. This is because Buildozer will use main.py when it wants to run. So we'll save it as that for now and click save. So now if we click ls here, we'll see we have a main.py. To run this, we can do Python 3 and main.py. And if we click enter, you'll see that now you have Kivy set up, installed, and it's working. So now the next step is to get Buildozer. So if I go here to the installation for Buildozer, we'll see that first you need to install it. Right? So as I've installed everything above, Python 3 -m pip install upgrade Buildozer, and then enter. You'll also see that there's a number of dependencies required here as well. So it says do sudo apt update first. So we'll type that in. And then we will get these dependencies down here. This has Python 3, as you can see, so we don't need to change anything here. We can copy this as is and go to a terminal and paste it just like that. And then click enter. And a lot of these are shared, I think, between Kivy as well, or maybe some of them are. So this is a little faster. So we wait for this to download. So once this has finished downloading, we can ignore this bottom step here because we have Python, and you can make a virtual environment if you want. I'm not going to. You'll see it says we need to add the following line to our bashrc file. So if we type sudo vi and then the squiggly line -bash rc, we'll open this up, and we can go all the way to the very bottom. And again, like before, we click the letter I. This will enable us to start typing. And so I click enter, and I type in the export path equals $path semicolon, and then -.local-bin-. Now we have an additional I here. So to get rid of this, when you click the escape button, and then click the right arrow, and then click the letter X, and that will delete the I here. Additionally, we need to refill this FI here. So if you click I again, and then type in FI, then click the escape button again, go to the F, click X, and now we have this here. So then click the semicolon, WQ option, and there you go. Now you have successfully installed and set up Buildozer. So now if we go to Quick Start, it'll start showing you how to set up your Android system so that you can run Buildozer, convert the PY file to an APK to then run on your phone. So the first thing that I want to do is make a specific folder for all of this. So I'm going to call it app. And I'm going to take my main.py and put it into this app folder. In the terminal, I'm going to go to that app directory. And that's where I'm going to run this buildozer inish. So copy and paste. Sometimes you'll receive this error. The way to resolve this is to close the terminal. Just open up a new one. Again, I want to travel to that directory and now try it. And it will make it for you. So now when you go to this file, you'll see you have a buildozer.spec file. And you can modify this depending on your need. I'm going to change the package name to just test app. And I'll just leave my application as that, and then save this. Now, the next step as well that you need to do is do sudo apt install LLD. This is not actually installed automatically by the Android debug option. And so you will get an error if you don't have this installed. So install it here ahead of time. Yes. Now that this is done, then we can start our debugging here. And click enter. This is going to actually take a considerable amount of time. They say here, go have some tea or dinner, and it's not a joke. It will take around maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But there is additional steps that still need to be done. So on your phone now, if you haven't turned on developer options, that's something you need to do. And I can't show you my phone here, but we can do a quick how to turn on developer mode Android phone. And you can just get a quick step-by-step. You basically have to go to your settings. So you go to your system settings and then go to where it says about phone, and you'll see it says software info, and then you go to build number. Your build number might be in a different folder. What matters is this build number. This is where you want to navigate to. Then click on this build number about 5 to 10 times. You'll see something pop up saying like 3 more clicks to developer mode. And after you've done that, if you back out again to your settings, you'll see below that it says developer options, right? And so you want to turn that on. And if you scroll further down, you will see USB debugging, and you want to turn that on. And so now you've got your phone set up and ready to go. There is one additional factor that we also need to cover. Now, you can connect your phone to your computer, and that will most of the time automatically connect to the host. And so you can use SSH to connect to your phone that way. I find that overly complicated. Instead, what I think is easier is to have the phone connect directly to the virtual machine. Have that be its first pick. So if you go down here to where it says the USB photo image and go to USB settings. Now for you, you'll probably only have USB 1.1. You won't have 2.0 and 3.0, but these are the ones you want since most computers, I don't think they have a 1.1 port. They have 2.0 and 3.0s. So to get these ports, what you have to do is get an extension. It's called VBox extensions. So if we go back to our host Windows computer here, and here in Google, we can type in download.virtualbox.org-virtualbox and click on the index. You're going to see all the different versions of VirtualBox here. To find out the version you have, you can just go to latest. And you'll see here that, for example, the version that I have is 6.1.12. So I go up here and I find 6.1.12. I click on it. And here you can see it says VBox EXT pack. Right? And so for mine, it's the 139181. And so you click on this and you download it. Again, keep in mind what folder you've downloaded it to. So what you want to do is go to File here and go to Preferences and go to Extensions. And here on the right it says Add New Package. You want to click on that and click on the extension pack you just downloaded. And then you click Open. And that will add it here and you click OK. And this will then give you these different USB options. However, as you can see on, in my case, you can't click on which USB option to do. What you have to do is actually close your virtual machine, and then from there you can open it up. And I will show how to do that once our package, our bulldozer is finished running and our package has been made. So once you have your Android package properly installed, you will notice you have a bin file here and you have your app, your APK file. As I stated before, what we're going to do now is get our phone connected to our computer. This is important to make sure we set up properly, because if we run our application right now as is, there's no phone connected right now to the computer. And so the expected output that you'll see is when it searches for a device, there will be no device listed here, and so it won't run anything. What we can do here is close, power off the machine, and click OK. And we can go to our settings. And in our settings, when we go to USB, and make sure to click USB 2.0, right? And then you click OK. And now we can go in and open our virtual machine. So once you have logged back in to your virtual machine, if you've set up the custom resolution properly, as I showed earlier, your virtual machine should go to that screen resolution automatically when it boots up. So now we have our phone set up. We have our virtual machine set up. So now you take a USB and you want to connect your Android phone to your computer. Now you want to make sure that you go to your Android system, and you'll see there's a number of ways you can be connected, right? You can be charging phone only, USB tethering, transferring images, and then you'll have something that's transferring files. What you want to do is click on that, and you'll see this pop up on the host machine. But we don't want our phone connected to the host machine. We want it connected to the virtual machine. So what you can do is if you come down here, right click, let's go to USB settings. Here where it says adds new USB filter, and click on your phone. Your phone should pop up here, and click OK. Now your phone is connected to the virtual machine. So now we can successfully run our program on our virtual machine. So sometimes this won't automatically work when you set that filter. That filter is designed so that it automatically connects. So sometimes you may need to right click here and just click on the Samsung or on your phone right here. And so on the computer, you will see this pop up. On your phone, it says allow access to phone data. Just make sure you click allow in this case. And so now our phone is set up to our virtual machine. So the next thing that you want to do is run Buildozer on your Android. So to do this, make sure that your phone is connected with the proper setting. And just copy this, go to the directory that has all your stuff, and paste. Now you can get a couple of errors and situations here. For one, you might see that there's no device listed here. Make sure that, again, this is connected, that you are in the transfer file mode and not like USB tethering or something. Right. Second, you might see that it says unauthorized. And so on your phone, what you should see is when you try and connect to it, a pop-up appear that says allow USB debugging. So what you want is to click OK on that and make sure, and there's an option that says don't, make sure you're always connected. Make sure you check that as well. And so now when you run your file again, now that you give it authorization on your phone, you'll see that you get a list of devices attached here, which is your phone. And this is just a log from your Android. And on your phone, you should see your app running successfully. And you should see the same interface that we saw earlier. Now, this is a little buggy sometimes. Sometimes you may not always get that pop-up on your phone. For one, make sure that you're not in like tethering mode and that you are in transferring files mode or transferring images mode. Make sure that your device is connected. If it does not connect, there is another option that you can do. So if you go to your home file, if we go here and we do cd.android, you won't see it, but if we go to this file, you'll note that there is an ADB key here, right? And so what you can do is do RF rm, or sorry, rm-rf-adb key. And now you'll notice that that ADB key is gone. So once you've done that, again, go back to your folder, and try and run it again. And this time you should get the pop-up on your device, if you don't. And that's basically it for how to set up Kivy and Buildozer on your Linux virtual machine. There is one additional factor that I also wanted to add here, and that is how to copy and paste files from your computer, from the guest to the host, and vice versa, as well as copying text. So for example, say you want to copy some error messages that you get on your virtual machine to some forum board or some help or GitHub on your actual host machine. To do this, you need to have the VBox extensions, which we installed earlier. Additionally, you have to come to Settings here, go to General and Advanced, and change Shared Clipboard and Drag and Drop to bidirectional for both. This enables you to copy and paste text between your guest and host, as well as drag and drop files. Maybe you don't want to run your app through Buildozer on your phone. Maybe you want to transfer it to your host desktop and maybe run it through an emulator or something like that. There's one other factor that we also need to take into account, and that is we need this VBox Guest Editions ISO. Click to download this. I have already downloaded it myself here. And so go back to your virtual machine. And now we can get rid of these guys. And go to Devices, Optical Drives, and choose Create Disk Image. Go to Add again. And now add your VBox Guest Editions that you had downloaded and click Choose. So it'll take a couple of seconds to show up. But now you get a disk, and click Cancel here when it wants to run automatically. Instead, go to your terminal, cd-media- whatever the name of your virtual machine is, and then VBox, and then tab. This will complete it. And here you'll see that there is a VBox Linux editions.run. This is what you want to run. So do sudo sh and then --vbox Linux editions.run. It'll ask you for a password, and this will take a couple of minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes to set up and get going. Once this has finished setting up, what you have to do then is to restart your virtual machine. So basically, I'll show you how to do that once this is done. So this has finished adding. So now what we do is exit, and we want to restart our virtual machine. So power off the machine, and then reopen the machine. So log back in to your machine once you have restarted it. And now, oh, I forgot. You can also just unmount your devices so you don't see this anymore right here. And it says force unmount. Yes, you can also right click and click the eject button as well. Both of those options work. And so you should be able to now copy and paste back and forth between your files, between your host and guest. Sometimes I find that the installation doesn't always work and you can't always copy and paste. And so the easiest thing you can do is just reinstall it, right? Using the same steps. So you can just go a quick short method, since now it should be, is just go to Devices, VBox Guest Editions. And so you can go to Media, Test, VBox, and then again, sh, and then run the VBox Linux editions.run. You can run this again, and hopefully the second time around it works. But that's basically it. At this point, you now have everything set up and can start doing You can start doing app development on Kivy and port it to your phone and run it there. And thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, you can post it in the comments below. This is my first YouTube video, so I apologize if it's a little drawn out and the editing's a bit choppy. If you did find this helpful, please refer it to other people who are also looking for how to set this up as well. Additionally, give a like so that if people do end up trying to Google it and search it, they can have an easier time finding this video and getting started doing app development. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was useful.